All right. Howdy, everybody out there. We're back for another episode of the Eh-soteric Archives. It's going to be a bit of a wing it episode. We had a no-show today, so we're supposed to have a guest on, and we got ghosted for the first time.
Yeah.
Damn. It was bound to happen eventually, but...
It was. It's unfortunate. I'm sure there's a reason.
There's always a reason.
Yeah.
No. But we figured, why we're already here. We're already talking about stuff, and there's lots going on in the world, so might as well have a chat about it.
There are many things going on in the world, and a lot of them pertaining to this dumpster fire we call a country, Canada.
Yeah. There's a few things to hit on, so we figured we would just do sort of a current events kind of episode and talk about all the stuff, all the things. But before we get into that, just want to say thanks to everyone out there that's been listening and following along. We've been having lots of new engagement from people out there, so thank you very much. We're on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, which is a weird place, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, we've gotten a few comments from just straight up weirdos on there. So yeah, if you're over there on Odyssey, be careful, because
good to know.
Strange land. But Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the things we're doing good. It's on a roll here, so it's been a lot of fun, and we'll keep hopefully delivering for everyone out there.
Yeah, and the little synchronicity with our last episode.
Yeah, that was weird too. So for anyone that did check out our last episode about the maple syrup cartel, as literally the night I was getting ready, I was scheduling some clips on Instagram and all that stuff, and I scroll through my feed, and who should pop up talking about the Great Maple Syrup Heist? None other than Fed boy Ian Carroll.
Crazy.
Yeah. Not surprised. His video got a lot more views than ours did, but just know we did it first.
Yeah.
So
he could put a video up of absolutely nothing, just pitch black darkness.
Yeah,
and it would have more views than us.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
he should
at the moment.
He should do a video about him just grooming his mustache. That would do big numbers.
How much time a day do you think he spends on that thing?
I don't know, man.
It's a nice mustache, though. I will say,
it's a good one.
Yeah.
I think it's a prerequisite to be a Fed. So
yeah, and some khakis.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway, moving on.
We'll get into it here. So there's a lot of talk out there. Big boy Trump running his mouth about the whole 51st state thing, which has been kind of comical and also interesting. When you actually kind of dig into it, there's always something with Trump. Like he sounds ridiculous, but then you look into what he's saying, and it's like, oh, there's actually something there. Not that he's like necessarily on the right side of it all the time, but like it's like, oh shit, actually there's something there that could bring this to fruition. So he's not just like, he's not just talking out of his ass.
And the 51st state thing and the Greenland thing kind of came up the first time, they came up the first time just before the last election in Canada. That's what spawned the whole elbows up nonsense.
Yeah, it really was. And it kind of put all the boomers on red alert, and they jumped on that bandwagon pretty quick.
I remember at that time when it got brought up, I really got the feeling that Trump wanted the Liberals, or was helping the Liberals win, because it was all conservative. There was a big blue wave in Canada before that. Right. And then it was, well, how's Pierre Poilievre going to handle Trump? He's not going to know how to handle him. We need to get in a real adult like Mark Carney, Mr. Burns.
Let's bring in the banker.
Yeah. Who's ruined 2 other countries. Yeah. Let's bring him in.
Yeah. And it's still to this day boggles my mind that people just don't dig into his past at all. You bring that stuff up and it's just right over their head.
Yeah. Don't even care.
No, I've even read, I was reading through some comment sections yesterday, and people were talking about Pierre and saying that he was like an Epstein guy. And I was like, I mean, I wouldn't put it past any politician,
Mhm.
but didn't like Carney's wife host Ghislaine's birthday party at their property in England?
Yes, and there are a lot of pictures of them palling around.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I believe it was I could be wrong, so you know what, I won't say the pictures were from, but I thought they were from after the first time Epstein had been arrested.
that's what I thought too.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was already known that this was going on, and they still
Mhm.
didn't care enough to make sure they weren't seen with them. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Pretty wild to me.
So
But
that was the first time Greenland and the 51st state thing was brought up, and then it kind of faded away for a bit, right? Like
well,
the
yeah.
talk of it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it was brought up as like a mainstream talking point, but I remember hearing about the whole North American Union thing back in, my God, like 20 years ago. Like I think one of the first times I was shown Alex Jones, he was talking about the North American Union.
Mhm,
So like Canada, US, and Mexico joining up as basically like the European Union did kind of thing. So
mhm.
this has been in the works for a long time. I'm pretty sure the first things signed for it or like the initial discussions for it were in like 92.
And in one of our previous episodes, we talk about the Technate
Mhm. Mhm.
and Elon Musk's grandfather,
Yep.
who was part of a big part of that movement.
Mhm.
Their whole thing included a North America that had Greenland. It was one like North
Did
America
it?
was zone 1, and that's also the New World Order, North America, so like Canada, US, and Greenland.
Yeah.
It always includes Greenland as part of that zone,
Yeah.
which is interesting that that's now being brought up again.
Well, and it really feels like Canada's sort of being encircled, right? Because we have Canada and then Alaska is like
Yeah.
is attached to us, and then and then I saw this really funny meme actually, and it was like the scared cat in the middle that was Canada, and then around it was like yeah, like Alaska, US, and then Greenland up
Mhm.
here, just like other cats just like zoning in on it.
Yeah.
I saw another funny one that was like the US flag on Alaska, US, and Greenland, and then just the big Chinese flag on Canada, which
That
is
one's more accurate, I feel, nowadays.
that's what they're pushing for.
Yeah.
So yeah, this could go either way, really. There's definitely it seems like we're being fought over. Uh,
Mhm.
and I mean, you look into it and it's geopolitically makes sense why Canada would be a target for any sort of imperialistic power to want to control
Mhm.
because yeah, I mean look at the size of us. Look at how many resources we have, all the fresh water,
Mhm.
farmland, like it's just
Lot of open space,
yep,
lot of places to put AI centers, data centers, and
yep.
things like that. And if which we will, because it is part of today's like what's going on is, the talk of a possible pole shift in those things.
Mhm,
If those things did happen, Canada and Greenland would no longer be the North. They would be
right.
situated a lot closer to the equator.
Mhm.
And anyway,
Yeah,
there's a lot of things at play.
there's a lot of things at
Yeah.
play, and I mean, so
Mm.
we have that going on a global scale, and then internally in Canada, we have the whole like Western separatist movement right now too. WEXIT, I think they're calling it, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, they always gotta smash words together.
I know.
Yeah,
It's so gross.
Benifer, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Wexit. Wexit.
Wexit, and I know a lot of I grew up in Alberta, I grew up in Edmonton, so I'm very familiar with the whole Berta mentality, and while there is things that I really, really love about Alberta and that sort of like I don't wanna call it redneck because that's, sort of derogatory, but, like, there is sort of more of, like, an Old West vibe to and more of, like, a libertarian freedom kind of vibe to Alberta.
Yeah, like I get a cowboy libertarian
Yeah.
Wild West.
Yeah, I think it's a
Yeah.
bit of a diluted idea. I think
Yeah.
it's, sort of just, like it's a bit of a LARP, but,
Mhm.
but that being said, it's that's gained momentum there to the point where now there's they're holding I don't know if it's a referendum or whatever yet, but they're doing like a petition,
Mhm.
gathering signatures, and if they hit the number, then it goes into to be voted on at some point, I would think. but I think, we might have differing views on why it would work or why it wouldn't work. I I
It
get the sentiment of it, and I'm like supportive of the sentiment of it, but from a logistics standpoint, and just knowing how that province operates and where it is, and it doesn't. I just don't see it working personally.
like, you don't see it so you don't see it getting voted in, or you don't see it working if it does get voted in? Like, even if they say they're gonna do it, they
So
vote for it, you see it not getting past that point because it just won't work. The same way when Quebec tried to separate,
yeah, very very
like,
similar.
it'll just get shot down.
I think so,
But that
and
was a vote that sorry, that to cut you off, that was a vote that stopped that, right? Like,
yeah, I could see it getting to that point.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, too, like Alberta's a very split province. Like, although it does have that Berta vibe, like there's like Edmonton itself is one of the most liberal cities in
100%.
the country.
Yeah, and Calgary is
Calgary
very
too.
liberal as well.
Yeah,
They go NDP all the time in provincial and federal elections, and their mayors are both, like, far left.
yeah,
Like, they belong in San Francisco,
yeah.
like, being the mayor of that, or
Oh yeah, Mayor Thumb in Edmonton is like,
yeah,
yeah,
like, you might as well be in California,
yeah.
that type of left.
No, for sure,
Yeah.
and you see it a lot there. So and that's why I don't see it necessarily. It'll be a struggle. It'll be a fight, and if it makes it to that point of a vote, whereas I see Saskatchewan maybe. See, Saskatchewan has been decimated by the NDP, and sort of like, and again, like neither of us really play this left versus right politics game anymore.
Mhm,
I kind of believe that they're all working for the same people, but there is definitely like that pitting of sides against each other. And I think in Saskatchewan, because it was like sort of this NDP stronghold for so long, and it did decimate their industry, it decimated their economy, it decimated the farms, it did a
mhm,
lot of damage. That I can see the conservative lean pulling back and maybe winning, whereas Alberta is still, I think I'd call it a 50-50 split.
mhm,
With the exception of northern Alberta, but then they don't have the population to support that. So it's
mhm.
just kind of, yeah. Uh, You can basically like it's going to come down to between like Edmonton and Calgary at the end of the day, right?
But that seems to be every election in this country, that's what happens, right? It comes down to those population centers.
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter what elsewhere wants, right? It's like
yeah,
Ontario decides the federal election,
hmm
right? Every election it does.
yeah. No, you're 100%
Yeah.
right. And with Alberta, it's the thing is that and this is where the 51st state thing comes in, because the WEXIT thing is separate. But if, like, say the US were to swoop in and be like, "Hey, we'll actually support you in this,"
Mhm.
then it could potentially work because
Like, we'll take you, Alberta, or
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
effectively,
agree, because then that's the way they would want to do it, I would think.
and then it could spread out from there, and I could
Mhm,
see it actually gaining momentum. But the reason being is because, Alberta being oil country, like, it's already basically owned by the US anyways.
mhm,
Most of these oil companies that are there are American companies.
mhm,
Um, the reason I don't see it working, and my like logistic standpoint on it, is it's landlocked. Like, how often do landlocked places really like hold a ton of power?
mhm.
Um, the it would cut them off from natural gas if BC didn't join. Like all the natural gas comes from BC. That's all Fort St. John, Prince George area. So
Is there I don't know enough about it, but there must be natural gas under Alberta. In Alberta, they just
I'm
don't
sure there.
they don't
Yeah,
I
well,
think there's gotta be some. They don't actively drill it because there's so much other stuff that's
yeah,
worth it.
the industry, that industry takes place really up in northern BC
Yeah.
and is funneled down. So yeah, I mean, and that's how people heat their homes
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and it's a cold ass place. Like, growing up in Edmonton, like the reason I left was I don't actually dislike Edmonton as a city all that much. It's got a great music scene, it's got a great food scene. There's a lot of cool people there. My family's there, but those winters, man, like
Yeah, it's cold.
that's not for me. That's
No.
just not for me. Um, so I mean, so you have the weather, it's landlocked. like, so there's no ports or anything too, right? Like, I don't think because outside of the oil industry, Alberta doesn't really have a leg to stand on.
Mhm.
So that's obviously they have to play to that. And then by doing that, they'd have to then incorporate, more American money and more American practices.
Mhm.
And then that's gonna, have its damage on the land there and stuff too, right? Like, I don't think Canadians realize the rate of industrialization that the US takes part in. Like, we industrialize in a very different way. We bog everything down with bureaucracy, which is not a good thing, but at the same time, it also, like,
Slows it down.
slows it
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Whereas, like, you know, they'll take the Texas approach and they'll just, like, drill, baby, drill.
Yeah.
And,
Drill while you can.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there would be a very big boom cycle followed by an extreme bust cycle because the rest of Canada would also, you know,
Yep.
be hurting because of that, and my guess is there'd be some sort of retaliation from the East, and there'd be, so I just don't think that it's really I think it's a very emotional movement.
I think it's a distraction.
Yeah.
So, like, I personally think that it is what the powers that be, like the overseers, want is one North America, and I don't think anything that we think we could do to get ourselves out of that, they aren't going to allow. So if elections, we both know my views on elections have changed. I think that all voting is now rigged,
Oh, yeah.
and can very easily be rigged.
Mhm.
So therefore, if they don't want it to happen, they'll rig the vote so it can't happen.
Yeah.
If voting is not rigged, they'll rig the constitutional process
Yeah.
somehow. If that's not rigged, they'll go bankrupt paying back the First Nations people because remember we discussed previous, not on the show, but like in
Mhm.
private, their treaties would be dissolved because their treaty, like the First Nations treaties in Alberta are with the Crown. They would have to come up with new treaties with the new country, or how would that,
That was my thought. So
like, how would that work?
like, the difference between so BC has a bunch of
Ceded land.
unceded
Yeah, yeah.
land that is still owned technically by the bands.
Mhm.
But Alberta is all treaty.
Mhm.
But that treaty is under yeah, it's under the crown.
Mhm.
So if they were to separate from the crown, that would, I would think, dissolve everything, right?
Or they would have to pay a fee. I don't know.
It opens up the door to
Yeah.
that conversation.
I'm
And,
not
like,
a constitutional lawyer, so
yeah, yeah. But I mean, opening the door to that conversation in BC has been very damaging, right? Like,
100%.
it's got people freaking out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and that's what I mean is that I don't think that the people that are really rah about this movement understand the repercussions,
Mhm.
understand, like, what that process actually looks like and how painful that process is.
And I agree with you on all those points, and I also think and they don't understand. They're not taking into consideration the world that we live in.
Yes.
They're not, you know what I mean? They're not acknowledging this one world kind of way that the world is heading
Yeah.
and continuing to head.
Because I think a good chunk of that freedom movement is sort of conspiratorial minded, but I don't think that they're there yet.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you and I are full schizo. We've been here for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but that's not everyone. And I've really noticed, like, whereas you have in the US, like, conspiracies are so big right now and everyone's diving into everything, whether it's disclosure, whether it's JFK, whether it's 9/11, whether, and here, um, everyone, like, we're about, 20 steps behind where everyone's just like, wait, I don't know if voting works. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
They're not there yet.
Yeah.
That's not, it
There's
just is what it is. It's what happens when your media is 100% state controlled and,
yeah.
you know,
The only switch I've seen is more people moving from liberal to conservative, which doesn't solve anything in my opinion anyway. So
well, and to your point,
yeah, they need to wake up a bit more.
100%.
Yeah.
And to your point about it being a distraction is like you said, like, this talk initially is what sparked the whole elbows up nonsense.
Mhm.
And I don't think I think when Carney got in that they thought that, like, oh, we've done it, like, the psyop worked, but
Mhm.
I don't think it stuck.
Oh,
And right, so, and with all of this, we're in talk. I'm hearing talk about a spring election again, right?
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, our parliamentary process is just
just so they can, yeah, it's
Stupid.
nuts. Yeah. I wanted to bring, when you were talking before too about Saskatchewan, right? Like,
Mhm.
and them being landlocked, and I want to bring Kearney into it as well. Um, I, if it was a real thing, in my opinion, they would be seeking Saskatchewan and Manitoba to join, or BC to join,
Mhm.
for the exact reason that, or Yukon. You know what I mean? Like,
BC and Yukon would make a lot of sense.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Because then if they were serious, there would be serious talk about those things to go on, because that's the only way I think that that is feasible. And if we really truly want to destroy the New World Order, in my opinion, Canada can't defeat it the way it's built now. It needs to separate into more regional countries that care more about that area, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no, yeah.
that's the only way it could, and that's what I would think would be the natural progression, but that's not what's going to happen, and that's not what's happening. The rest of Canada wants to stay together.
Yeah.
Alberta's talking about it. Most people there, like you said, not most, but the cities, they're talking against it. When you see CBC News or, any other state media,
Mhm.
you can see they're making fun of the movement in the article, when the headline is like hundreds attend rally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For separate.
Oh, yeah, they're diluting it big
Yeah,
time.
making it seem whatever. And then, sorry, the last thing I wanted to say was, when you talked with Saskatchewan before, did you see the Mark Carney, Scott Moe thing this week?
No.
So Mark Carney was in Saskatchewan. I don't know if he was in Saskatchewan, but he was, there was all the premiers and Mark Carney at a table talking, and he's giving a speech, and he full on says,
Oh,
moving us into the new world order. And Scott Moe, who's the premier of Saskatchewan, sitting right beside him. You have to see it. We'll include it in the links to the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
His face is priceless.
Yeah.
When he says it, like, he gives like a, what did you just say?
Yeah.
And almost like a disgust. There's something about Scott Moe, because I feel like he's not part of it in the way that a lot of other people are.
Mhm.
He just kind of wants to do the best for
Well,
Saskatchewan.
that's how I felt
but
about Danielle Smith at first too, but the more that goes on, I'm like, oh no, she's an actor in all this as well.
I've thought that she was in media. Like,
Yeah.
I got sucked into the Danielle Smith thing too as well. I was like, yep, maybe someone will fight for something. And then like a weekend, I'm like, nope, she's pandering like every other
Yeah.
politician.
Off to Mar-a-Lago she goes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, even like, I remember her having different views on Ukraine than they're supposed to in Canada,
Mhm.
right? And at a time, and then she had to walk those back.
Yeah.
And that's when she wasn't premier. And then she became premier, and she had to walk them back a bit.
Yeah.
And speaking of Ukraine, since we're talking about Canadian news, do you see where the
Chrystia Freeland?
the little troll went? Yeah.
Yeah.
The little troll
Our
went
little meth troll. Yeah.
and meth and coke troll and there was a picture of her and Zelensky. We talk about that?
No.
There's a picture of her circulating around the internet of her and Zelensky at a table meeting, and while he's introducing her as the new economic advisor to Ukraine. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's good at laundering money,
Oh yeah.
allegedly.
Allegedly.
On the table there was a I can't remember the name of them, but it's drops that cokeheads use to keep their nasal passage, and like, it's well known, and it's just sitting on the table in between them.
Yeah. She's twitchy. She's
Oh,
so
man.
twitchy. Like,
Yeah, there's something.
she's either a robot or like glitching out, or yeah.
And she's evil.
Oh, big time.
There is evil in that woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it in her face. Like, there's
Yeah.
just certain people give off vibes, and right from the get-go I was like, oh yeah, she's dangerous.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
super dangerous.
And to see how she has acted over her time in Canada as a politician, when people have went against her, when you see a reporter ask her a question
Mhm.
that isn't the normal line of questioning, the face that she would give, you know what I mean? And then the Johnny,
Yeah.
not
It's
a fan.
it's the last remnants of that of the Trudeau era, right?
Yeah.
Because I saw something too with that Jolie girl,
Mhm.
who I thought was Trudeau's side piece there for a little while. I was kind of thinking that way.
No, it was Katy Perry.
Yeah, all along. Damn. She came in like a wrecking ball. That was her, right? Anyways, the Jolie said something. Someone brought up something about the trip to China
Yeah.
that Carney just took.
Yeah.
And they mentioned, like, like they something about like that it was a cybersecurity question, anyways, it was something basically like, did you know that China, like we've discovered China has been spying through backdoor channels on
Uh-huh.
Canada, and she's like, yeah, but we had some good meetings though. Like that
It
was her rebuttal, was like,
yeah.
well, yeah, but the meetings were pretty good.
It it's so crazy to me that while, like, Iran's burning, you know what I mean? There's still the Israel issue, there's still the Ukraine issue, there's Venezuela happening with, like,
Yeah,
supersonic weapons. Trump's talking about Greenland again and about 51st state stuff, and our prime minister's reaction is to fly to China for a 2.5-day meeting
about electric vehicles.
and canola oil.
Yeah,
Like, unless it's to give them canola oil to put in their electric vehicles, which is the only thing canola oil should be used for,
yeah,
not eating.
truly, yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, anyway.
Yeah, no, it's but yeah, back to like I wanted to touch on your distraction thing because again, I think all of this stuff is like, I think Carney is like, yeah, the illusion failed. People are waking up to it real quick.
Mhm.
Talk of a spring election, and so it's like, well, it worked the first time, so let's just like bring this back the second time, and now we'll make it seem like we're making a deal with, because you know, no, when you talk to like people like us and you mention China, it's like, oh yeah, everyone knows communism and like control state, big brother type shit. But when you talk to like normie people about China, they're like, oh, well, what do you mean? Like their kids are learning math when they're 4 years old and their technology is way above ours and all this. You know what I mean? Their economy is flourishing and they're a global economic superpower. Like,
And
which
90% of the things in those people's homes are built in China.
yeah. So they see it.
Probably.
So it doesn't, psychologically, like it makes sense. They probably see this as a net positive for the country, where it's like if you actually look into it, like something like 80% of our goods go to the US,
Yeah,
and like China accounts for like 6% of our exports or something. It's really nothing. It's
I
very,
know.
yeah. So even if they were to, and then that brought back this whole thing, and now Ford's pissed off because he was his whole thing. Okay, yeah. Ford campaigned basically on rebolstering Ontario's automotive sector
Mhm.
while cozying up to the Liberals, even though he's apparently a conservative, right?
And pouring out Crown Royal
Yeah,
at the same time.
yeah, and eating ice cream bars on live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I preferred
I
his
can
crack smoking brother personally, but
I think of Tommy Boy whenever I see him.
yeah,
Like, I can literally hear you getting bigger.
yeah,
That whenever I see him,
yeah.
sorry.
No, but so I think they're throwing Ford under the bus. Like he's
Yeah.
done his job for them. He just wanted friends, and now he's done. And it's just causing all of this internal stuff. It's this East versus West thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's just building this all up to be more than it is, and as if it's going to happen like tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
these processes take time. It's not going to be an overnight thing. If anything, this is like they're maybe on track for their Agenda 2030 shit. But yeah, just the way it's being amped up right now makes me think it's like, okay, they're just running the same playbook back again.
Yeah.
So
And it appeases them. You know what I mean? It gives the people who are the plebs something to fight for that they're
yeah,
never gonna get.
yeah,
But at least and
because you have to inject patriotism here. It does not just like inherent like it is in America with a
no,
lot of people. You
no.
really have to sort of inject it and remind people it's like where they live.
Mhm.
And so I think that I definitely think they're doing that. The Greenland stuff is interesting, especially with the shit you've told me about
Oh, yeah,
Greenland
yeah.
this morning.
I'm gonna get to that in one. I just wanted to add 2 more Canadian things.
Yeah,
The same day that Carney met with China, Francois Legault resigned.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So, like, just kinda quietly
yeah,
and gone. So there's another COVID, like, psycho
yeah,
who's gonna get off with nothing. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
He's
No
made his
anything.
money. His contract's up.
Yep.
Yeah,
And the leader of the Liberal Party in Ontario resigned as well.
I did see that too.
Yeah.
It's a woman, right?
Yeah, who's Dave Crombie. That's yeah,
mhm.
she's like I don't remember David Crombie as the mayor of Toronto, but
Yeah.
I believe she's the son of the
There's
next mayor.
there's a lot of movement happening right now
Yeah.
because there was even, the conservatives again. Like I feel sometimes I feel weird talking about this stuff because I do believe it's all theater,
Mhm.
but it still has real world consequences.
Mhm.
So I pay attention to it just to see where the narrative is being steered.
Mhm.
And they tried the crossing of the floor thing where the MPs were going. A couple conservative MPs switched over to liberal,
Yeah.
and so that was pushing sort of towards this majority government. And then that kind of broke. And now I think like anyone that does that, like their career's over because
Yeah.
it's become such a contentious point. So I
How could
think,
you how can anyone ever vote for them again? Sorry, if
well, no,
just yeah, if you
100%.
run
Yeah.
as this and then you switch halfway through to that without talking to your constituents, getting
Just
their
treason.
yeah, like
Right?
that.
Like straight up.
There should be a by in my opinion, if something like that happens, you know what? I am not happy with this. There should be a by-election in
Yeah.
that area and then let the people decide again who they want in.
In a reasonable world.
Yeah.
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 For
This is
sure.
not a reasonable world, my friend.
No, we're way beyond reason at this
Yeah.
point.
Sorry, so Thule, or is it Thule? Thule? Do we know how to pronounce that?
Well,
Thule?
is it spelt the same as the car top
It
carriers?
is.
It's
It's
Thule? Yeah,
Thule?
Thule.
Thule.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a place in Greenland. And with the Donald Trump stuff coming up again, I decided just to look into the kind of the history of that area and what has led Donald Trump to doing the things that he's done.
Mhm.
And one of the things is what we mentioned. It's this whole one world government. Greenland's part of it. Well, why? Um, the U.S. has had an Air Force base there since World War II. So this place was discovered, Thule, not discovered, it'd been inhabited for a long time,
Mhm.
right? By Inuit and Dorset and some other people. um, but it was discovered by an explorer in the late 1880s and kind of settled as an outpost. And I can't remember his name now, but what I do remember, because I did this research for what the podcast was supposed to be about, right?
Yeah.
To ask some questions to someone. When I looked at the picture of this guy in this town of Thule, behind him is this, as we'll put it in the show notes, but as best as I could describe as a, a pyramidal looking mountaintop that had the top third of it cut off flat.
Mhm.
Like I'm terrible
One of
at
those like
describing things.
tabletop
Exactly,
mountains,
but it
right?
looks like a tabletop pyramid
Yeah.
just in the picture, and it's in a place where there's no other like rock structures or forms like that. It's not part of a mountain range. It's not part of a. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's just completely anomalous, like out there in the middle of a spit in the ocean.
Wild.
So he finds that here. He founds this outpost there and decides to settle. And he was an explorer. Like this guy he was the first person to cross the Northwest Passage by sled. So he actually did a dog sled from there all the way to Alaska. Like
Great.
serious explorer. But out of all the places he went, this is where he decided to settle. And he brought a lot of the First Nations people there in as well because they were now allowed to easily trade for goods. So it kind of became a settlement. In World War II, when Denmark was part of or had been captured by Germany, Greenland by default is now, I guess, Nazi territory, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so the U.S. at that time took over Greenland to protect it from Denmark. And that's when they built this Air Force base. After World War II, the First Nations people that lived there in this town of Thule,
Mhm.
they relocated all of them 200 kilometers north to New Thule. And now when you look on the map and wonder where Thule is, it'll take you to this new town. But the actual place is where this Air Force base is. I'll say the name of it here in one sec.
That's wild. So and
And
yeah.
now it's not even an Air Force base. They've renamed it. So it was Thule Air Force Base or Thule Air Force Base before. Now it is called, get my glasses because I'm old here. um, Pitafic Space Base.
Huh.
is now what it's turned into.
Base base.
Pitafix Space Base.
So
So it is
is
now
it,
a space base, and it is north of Baffin Island. Like, it is far north, really close to the Arctic Circle.
huh. Is it like, is this part, so it's just US Air Force, or is this part of that? Because didn't Trump like create like a space force?
It is part of Trump's Space Force. So they turned it when he announced the Space Force. They turned this into a space base.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with this weird kind of pyramidal looking, and like, I know people will be like, oh, that's not a pyramid. And I'm not saying it is. It's very anomalous. It looks
Yeah.
very out of place. I'm someone who does, I don't believe that all tabletop mountains are necessarily trees.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of them look like it. And I know that there's explanations for why they do, but there's also other explanations that could fit the,
Yeah.
anyway. And this isn't just something I'd never seen that I thought I would bring up. It's interesting. And it's interesting to me, his love of wanting to conquer Greenland. And I think he's going to use something to do with saving them in World War II and holding on to it as an argument for why. Because I do think they're going to take it over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's going to become part of the US,
Yeah.
and there's going to be no bloodshed, and it's just going to make people hate Trump more.
Yeah.
Right.
It just like further drives that wedge between like the NATO countries, right?
Mhm.
So, which I think NATO's like on the verge of dissolving as well.
Mhm.
I think the European Union is on the verge of dissolving. I think
Mhm.
a lot of these early iterations of the New World Order stuff are actually like, they almost feel like beta tests a little bit.
Yeah.
So now we're on to phase 2, where we're actually going to like start like redrawing the lines on the map kind of thing.
Well, the EU did just forming the EU did one of their jobs for them, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got all them together.
Yeah.
Although they have issues, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And they're saying, yeah.
Well, and that's why like I think they'll ultimately end up restructuring
Mhm.
to whatever they end up calling it, but it's so the Greenland stuff is interesting, and this plays into my suspicions with it too, is that because of, again, I was at a point where the disclosure movement is bullshit.
Mhm.
All this alien stuff is bullshit. Three Eye Atlas is fake. All of this stuff, right? And now, and
There's truths in some of them. I didn't want to, I think there are still truths in some of the things they say about those things, but
Mhm.
most of what we're told is bullshit. Yes.
Oh, and that's kind of what I mean, is I thought it was sort of like, oh, they're gonna try this narrative. I like to me, it feels like they're just sort of gauging. They're doing like a litmus test on things right now. It's like, is this gonna stick with the public? No, that one didn't work. Like Three Eye Atlas, like didn't really interest that many people.
Mhm.
Most people didn't even hear about it. And then, but now, I don't know if you saw. So it was I believe it was the Bank of England. I'll double check and post it as well. But I'm pretty sure it was the Bank of England that released a letter recently stating basically like emergency protocol for bank customers in the event of a disclosure like scenario.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. And at the same time that Trump apparently, like, it was released that the White House has the disclosure
Mhm.
document ready to go. Like, Trump's got it. He's been briefed. It's written. It's ready to go. They're just not releasing it yet. So now it's got me thinking with this Greenland stuff and that being a space base, it's like, oh, they're going to pump this disclosure narrative again.
Out of Greenland. And
Yeah.
there are a few conspiracy theories that they've found things in Green. Like, I know all over the world they have.
Yeah.
But that they found like actual alien structures there. There's one that's where the weather's controlled from, right?
Hmm.
Then there's the whole center of the earth thing. Like,
Yeah. Well, and Greenland is like one of those spots where it's like no one really knows a whole lot about it, right? It's not
no.
populated barely. It's like it kind of always felt like this real foreign land. Like, so it would be a perfect place to do it because yeah, who's going to contest that? Right?
Mhm.
If something strange and anomalous happened out of a place that no one knows anything about and no one's ever been, because like really how many people go to Greenland?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it kind of working. And then that plays back into the whole, like the Albert Pike stuff, right? Where he was like, that's the final move is this disclosure
Hmm.
and the alien invasion. So
And they've possibly been setting us up for this for a very long time, right? Like,
Mhm.
I forgot to mention talking about Thule before, but Thule has been mentioned in Greek texts,
Hmm.
like, I think up to 500-600 BC, like, all through Roman times, it's mentioned numerous times. It was known and called that for a long time,
Yeah.
and I adding to it, I think they found things under Greenland with LiDAR. Because like, when you look at it in a map, you know what I mean, through MapQuest or Google Maps or anything like that, you can't there's most of it's ice. You can't
Yeah.
see what's underneath.
Yeah.
I think they have a very good idea. Like with Antarctica, they know exactly what's there, and
Mm.
that's why they're there, because there's a possibility that the weather might change.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Be it from global climate change,
Yeah.
human induced
Yeah.
climate
Yeah.
change, right? Which I agree goes on, but not the way they say it goes on.
Oh yeah. No, I think yeah.
Yeah,
I'm in the same
not
boat.
blaming us. Yeah, we don't have to get into that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
and I also think it's gone on for tens of hundreds of thousands of years because the Earth's a living, breathing thing that changes all the time.
Yeah.
So it could be because of that, uh, but more likely it could be because the poles are moving.
Hmm.
The crustal displacement theory, the whole ethical skeptic, Ben Davidson, Sun Weatherman,
Yeah.
Ecto,
It's
you know,
compelling.
it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like in it, that is a black pill rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
we've discussed how that is probably the most hopeless scenario that we could encounter because yeah, well, what the hell are you gonna
yeah,
you can't protest that. There's no militia you can
no,
form to fight the polls. Like,
no.
you know.
But just because it's hopeless and like apocalyptic doesn't mean that it should be ignored, not discussed. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
it should at least be entertained and discussed and whatever. And the reason why it's important is because if that does happen, the way they've described it, as we mentioned before, would put Greenland in a different area. That
Mhm.
Northwest Passage is now no longer unpassable for, 9, 10 months of the year.
Mhm.
Like, that's in the equator. It actually would almost resemble kind of what Atlantis is described as, right? All these little if you look at it, if you take the ice out of it, there's
Yeah.
a lot of little islands and archipelagos and
Well, and it's interesting too because like you said, it's all under ice and there's these theories that when the pole shifts, obviously there's gonna be a mass melting that happens and it's going to all this land underneath that has been the soil's been preserved as
Mhm,
effectively, right? With ground ground freezing. So like there's probably crazy it's going to have its own sort of microbiome that's
mhm.
probably going to lend itself really well to being fertile land and growing stuff, so it's like the futurists always talk about sort of terraforming other planets and stuff, but it's like we don't need to. If the poles shift and open up all this land up north, why do you think maybe Antarctica, the reason you can't go there is because they're like literally preserving this land for
For
the pole shift
yeah,
because they're going to need it.
yeah,
we, you know this is what
100% agree with
yeah,
you.
yeah, that kind of like it sort of just came to me that that could be what they're doing. Like Elon's talking about going to Mars and stuff. Like, what's the point? Greenland's gonna melt, and we'll just grow everything there.
More distraction.
Yeah,
That's the point. More distraction and more money laundering and more ways to explain what you see above you in the sky,
yeah.
right?
Everyone in South Africa and South America will perish, but unfortunately, like it's a really apocalyptic. It's a doomsday scenario.
And it the hard part about it for me is it does tick a lot of boxes in regards to it. It fits into a lot of narratives that aren't tied into it and have no reason to fit into it. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it fits in with the flood narrative that's in almost every culture.
Hmm.
Yeah. It aligns like that. That was the other thing I was reading yesterday, and because I follow Ethical Skeptic a lot for this sort of thing,
Yeah,
and like I said, Ben Davidson, although he's a little harsh at times,
yeah,
um, so the Nazca lines that they all align to where magnetic north, like do you know what I mean? They all align to a magnetic north from I think it's 12,000 years ago that puts the Earth at a completely different tilt.
Mhm.
It like, there's so much proof.
Yeah.
There's a lot of proof. I believe the pyramids, same thing.
And I think it's a narrative that, like you said, it fits in with a lot. It fits in with end times prophecy. So you loop in the Christians there.
Mhm.
Anyone that believes in a yuga cycle or any sort of like
Mhm.
cosmic rock bottom kind of thing. It's easy to fit that narrative in there as well. Like it really does like yeah, ticks a lot of boxes. Um
It is a theory still just
yeah,
like and it's pretty strong one, but it
yeah.
is a theory. And I think how quick it would happen, it if people were lucky enough to survive and they were misinformed, how many people in especially in Canada would be like, "Fucking climate change,"
Yeah,
right?
100%. Oh, dude, yeah. Even
And
though like, seismic shit has
yeah,
absolutely nothing really to do
like
with
the poles just shifted,
yeah.
like, 10,000-foot tidal waves or whatever have, like, crashed around you,
Mhm.
and you're like, fucking climate change."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, I
that's
don't
how
know.
brainwashed
So,
we are.
but so and if this were to happen, like, it would trigger volcanic eruptions, it would trigger massive, massive earthquakes, and one thing I found out the other day, I was just looking at because there was a 6.2 off the coast of Oregon, like, fairly close to
Yeah, yeah, I
the
saw that.
coast and fairly shallow.
I didn't feel it at all. Did you feel it?
No, we wouldn't have with where we are. If it was in Washington, maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
little too far, eh?
yeah,
Yeah.
we feel stuff at like southern Alaska. We have the potential of feeling like anything that's like, kind of like hits that Haida Gwaii sort of
Mhm,
line, and then obviously yeah, like Washington. But the interesting thing is, I was trying to see if it triggered anything on the Canadian earthquake website, and there was nothing. And I was like, well, that's weird because there it should have, you
mhm.
know. And then I started just reading into like early detection systems that are in place for earthquakes. They exist all throughout Alaska. They exist all along the west coast down like it's the Cascadia fault line.
Yeah,
This chunk where we live and like
the Juan de
Vancouver,
Fuca plate.
yeah,
Yeah,
not a one.
yeah.
Not one. We wouldn't be told it happened until after it happened. And these guys like in Oregon, they got like a 35-minute window where they're
To
like,
know it was gonna happen.
yeah,
Wow.
so they can actually send out early detection stuff. And I just thought it was really interesting that it's like, I mean, it's Canada, so why would we put money into, protecting ourselves or infrastructure or anything? That's not what we spend money on.
Yeah.
That goes to Ukraine. That's earmarked already. But but like so it just yeah, it's it I'm so that being said, I'm paying attention to the US charts from now on because
Yeah, you'll have more of an idea. At least you can get a warning from them, right?
yeah, and I mean, people have been where we live. I mean, people have been talking about the big one for it's gonna happen.
The last big one happened, I think, 3 or 400 years ago, and
Yeah,
that's through native oral history, right? There's
yeah.
that whole by Tofino there, that whole side. There's evidence of a tsunami that came up quite a bit there.
There was a really big one in the '60s, I believe in '64,
Mhm.
that pushed inland. It was off the coast of Tofino, but what happens there is that channel that like leads into there's like a big sort. It's called the Zipper.
Yeah,
It's like a channel that leads into where Port Alberni
yeah,
is.
and the Barkley Sound is the beginning of it, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and so what happened in the '60s is there was a tsunami, and it pretty much wiped out Port Alberni,
That's
like,
right, yeah, put it
it
underwater, didn't
yeah,
it? Yeah,
it
and
was
it
like f something like 2,000 structures that were completely destroyed in that.
and that's quite a ways inland. Like, where Barkley Sound opens up into
You're
the
about a
Pacific Ocean, that's
you're about a 2-hour drive from the
yeah.
coast, yeah.
So it's 2 hours inland is where the tidal wave hit the town of Port Alberni. Yeah, you're right, that did happen.
Yeah,
So it is there. You'd think that they would at least put some dough into it, right?
yeah, yeah, no, they've rebuilt the levees and, like, reinforced the levees, but there's yeah, as far as, like, early detection systems, there's nothing.
And they relocated the town of Jordan River, just, like, close to us,
Yep,
right? And that was because of seismic worries and tidal because they have the dam above, and they're worried about those sorts of things.
yep,
So they obviously know.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be devastating when it happens for sure.
Mhm.
You live where you live because you wanna
Yep.
live there. You can't think like that because
We're not gonna get into those.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, again, like, I grew up in Edmonton, and I remember growing like, the year I was born was that massive tornado
Mhm.
in Edmonton that, like, tons and tons of damage, a bunch of people died. I think not a bunch, but, like, it was, like, a handful of people died. It was a devastating tornado, and I remember growing up seeing funnel clouds and weather would get pretty pretty shady.
Mhm.
Um, and I always heard my whole time growing up, there's going to be another massive tornado. There's going to be another one. Edmonton's going to be flattened,
Mhm.
and there wasn't,
It side note story about that. My grandmother,
Yeah.
um, because there was the year before the tornado in Edmonton, I remember the one you're talking about. There was a really bad one in Southern Ontario, in Barrie, Ontario,
Mm.
and it hit like it went through where my grandmother and grandpa lived. Um, that summer, or sorry, the next summer, she went to Edmonton to go visit my uncle
Jesus.
and was in Edmonton for the Edmonton tornado. She had like
Ugh.
2 tornadoes back to back.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. What are the chances?
Yeah. yeah, anyway.
But yeah, that
And what
all to say that you can't let that stuff dictate where you
where you're
live
yeah.
and even your day to day thoughts. Because
And if 2020 taught us anything, I'm not one to say that they're not correct, the ones who are giving the pole shift theory. Like, I can't throw shade or give them criticism, but we can't take we can never take what experts say before it happens, right? Like, model it, compute anything involving computer modeling, projections, whatever. It is what it is. It's a theory, and yeah, you can't throw all your eggs in one basket because sometimes experts can be wrong.
well, and yeah, and we're talking like something that's like a once in 500-year cycle. It's
Yeah.
like that could mean every 500 years. It could mean every 700 years. Like
And
it's yeah,
as we know, we're lied to about lots of things. We could be lied to about what year we're in, how long it's been since the last one. This could be another fear campaign to keep,
yeah.
for us people who aren't afraid as many things.
Mhm.
This scares me, scares you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They get some loosh from me when I think about this. So
No, for sure.
yeah,
For sure. I mean, I think we're far more likely to feel something from like we're far more likely to be like invaded by China than we are to live through the big one. If I were a betting man,
yeah.
watch it happen tomorrow. But
But you're right. Like, and
yeah,
it is what it is, right? So if it does happen, it is what it is. Like,
yeah,
I've seen things that if you live above 5,000 feet, but how do you know? Anyway,
yeah,
there's no point talking about any of that
yeah,
because
yeah,
how really do you know? And what world will be there when you're gone? I know that I personally would like to be there to spread as much truth as I can, and you know what I mean, to see. But at the
yeah,
same time, like, I'm not getting any younger.
yeah.
That's a hard thing, and it's going to be cold for a while. Like, it'll happen. It'll be pretty chaotic
Yeah.
for a little
Yeah.
while.
People persevere.
Yeah.
I have a friend who was in New Zealand during the Christchurch earthquake and
Oh
actually
wow.
like woke. She was at like a mall or something when it happened, was concussed, ended up wandering around town, not knowing where the hell she was.
Wow.
She was there like, she was a nanny, like moved there to be a nanny for some rich family and was yeah, but the way she explained, like, how people just sort of rallied together, and it was like within a couple months, people were sort of kinda back to normal a little bit, so
Yeah.
humans are really amazing in that way.
Yeah.
We tend to again, like, if it's happened if this is true and has happened in the past, like, we're still here.
Yeah.
Our family lineage made it through that because 'cause we're here.
Yeah. We're here
So,
talking. So there are, yeah. I think that's went on Earth forever
yeah.
and
Yeah.
will continue to. I will also preface that everything that we've said hinges on the Earth being a round sphere,
Yeah.
right? Going
Yeah,
around the
no.
sun, and some days I'm not 100% sure about that. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, right?
Hey man, there's just as much possibility that we are literally floating through a watery space on the back of a turtle. Like, you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
so we ultimately don't know, but the way the world events are playing out and the types of things that are being talked about and the political movements and everything is sort of leaning towards some sort of crescendo. It really
Yeah.
feels like it.
One sort of like apocalyptic ending.
Yeah, apocalyptic or just like a climax of some
Yeah.
sort, whether it be positive or negative. The Schumann resonance has been just like off the charts lately. Like, which again, like sometimes that system goes down and then when it turns back on, there's a spike. So these like anomalous spikes, but
And
it,
you said you really felt it too, eh? You think you felt it?
well, so yeah, I mean, where I live is we live really, really close to the water. So there are
Mhm.
big freighters that go by and stuff that do cause a rumble. And I mean, we feel earthquakes here every now and
Mhm,
then, but there's been a sound, like a deep kind of rumbling sound, and it happens at night.
mhm.
Uh, and yeah, and my wife. The interesting thing is that I've been feeling it, and my wife hasn't. So either something's wrong in my stomach, like, either I need to watch what I'm eating, or like, but no, it's very much like it's such a low frequency that you can feel it.
Yeah,
It's like a bass rumble is what it feels like and sounds like. And my wife has not been hearing it, but I've only been hearing it this week as the Schumann resonance has been spiked and sort of stayed there. My wife has felt it in other ways. She hasn't slept. Like
mhm.
we barely slept this week, and she's a sleeper. Like she loves to go to bed and stay in bed. So, um,
My sleep patterns have been disrupted as well, like, but in a different way, but
see,
yeah.
and you have animals. How's your cat and dog been? Have they been weird?
Not no, not this
No.
not no, not any weirder than normal.
Yeah.
Like, the cat's
When your
pretty
cat is weird. So
yeah, the dog's cool
yeah,
shit, but yeah, the cat's pretty weird.
yeah, yeah.
So she's continued being weird, yeah.
Okay.
Nothing's changed with her. She's happy it's not raining for the first time in 2 months. That's been the only change,
That's it. Hey.
but no, not like they haven't noticed anything weird. And
Yeah.
I feel the like, because I also live close to the water, and we live in kinda a similar geographical area, but far enough apart to have 2 different opinions, I think.
Yeah.
And I know what you're talking about. I can feel those rumbles sometimes, and it's usually a cruise ship, or it's
Mhm.
a big, like one of the big container ships, right?
Yeah, because you can feel it when their engines kinda kick on, it's
Yeah, yeah.
like, yeah.
And I also know too, and I forgot to mention this. I know they said that they were blasting off Bentic Island because we live near a military base as well, and
Yeah,
they have a depot where they dispose of old World War II relic explosives. Is their
that's what they say they're
officially what they
doing.
say
Yeah.
anyway? And I know they posted in the news that they were going to be doing that this week, but they don't do that at night,
Yeah, see
right?
yeah. Yeah, no, it's usually during the day, and because it's the same thing around here, there's, like, development, and they have to blast the
Yeah,
rock,
yeah.
and
It's
they
not
only do
that.
it on Thursdays, and they only do it Thursday afternoons.
Mhm.
So I always know Thursday afternoon, I hear a rattle, and my house shakes, and I know what it is, and I usually, like, yeah, when it's the boats, I can tell the difference. I used to live right off the Fraser River, so literally right across from the C-SPAN ports. So like I know what that rumble
And
feels like.
it's a different
It's
noise, yeah,
different. Yeah.
it's in your and I like, this Schumann resonance has been nuts, like, I've seen that too,
Yeah.
and I've noticed, it stopped, but the North Pole was doing its polar wander
I was
because 'cause I've
doing
been
that.
keeping an eye on, like, how it moves daily,
Mhm.
and it was doing a bunch of weird stuff too, and has since stopped and fallen back into line.
Mhm.
There's, like, a weird jog, and that was the last 10 days. It was doing weird stuff,
Huh.
so yeah, who knows? Like, some people think that's the mantle decoupling,
Yeah.
like that Schumann resonance is that happening,
Mm. Mhm.
or who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what it is?
Yeah, it's happening all around. If like Russia's had a ton of
Yeah,
earthquakes, like there's been some around the coast of Japan and stuff too. So we're in that ring of fire
yeah.
that is just constantly doing things, but it's been so much more active in the last like 6 to 9 months than it has been in the last 6 to 9 years.
The Schumann resonance.
The Schumann resonance
Yeah,
and just
and
like
that feeling.
and the
Yeah,
seismic activity.
yeah. And gee, I'm of the belief that that is also part of, if you once again, the 90% of me that believes in the round Earth going around the sun,
Hmm.
um, because our magnetic shield's gone down, and there's the sun's a lot more active, and I personally believe the sun has a lot to do with can have something to do with seismic things that have been going
Oh,
on,
big time.
and
Yeah.
it's pointed at Earth right now as well, right?
Yeah.
So that could be the Schumann resonance spiking is
Yeah.
solar winds going through, because they've proven, I think, that they go through Earth.
When there's
They
CM,
go around, but they also go through.
yeah, well, it depends on the strength. When there's those
Yeah,
CMEs that like pop off and those
yeah.
flares, like yeah, if they're earth facing, it usually affects our power grid. There's like radio blackouts. It's like they've connected like almost every time it happens.
Mhm.
They're like spotty. It's not like it wipes out the whole power grid because, like we were talking to your brother, it would take like a X40 or whatever it is, and we're seeing like at most like X2.
Yeah.
So but um, what is it just ramping up, right? Like, is this just take time? Is it like in Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan, just
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah. I like it's close to the end of the solar maximum, right? We're heading into a solar minimum, and my understanding is typically at the end of a solar maximum, it like the sun, for lack of a better term, pukes out it's
Yeah,
as much energy as it can,
yeah,
and then settles into a solar minimum. That's yeah. So there's a chance the next couple months could be hairy with that.
yeah.
Also, would be blamed possibly on climate change, right?
Hmm.
That's another one where I think a lot of people, if the power went out from a solar flare, would think that's because I didn't pay enough taxes on
Yeah,
I didn't pay enough carbon tax this year.
yeah. It'd
That's
be
why
it'd be an easy
my
sell.
weather's no good.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
didn't pay my weather subscription
yeah,
this month. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, man. It's
I'm from Canada. People think I'm slow, eh?
yeah. Well, yeah. Uh, there's a reason. Um, I think that yeah, a lot of this is distraction and potentially distraction from what's kind of on the docket coming up here
Yeah,
with everything. We'll see if this stuff sort of pans out with Greenland, and that's going to be. I mean, if that happens, that definitely plays into this theory we've been discussing, and I would sort of put that on high alert.
100%. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you know. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've never it's really weird because growing up in Canada, it's such a I always thought it was such a sleepy country growing up and nothing really happened here. And then obviously as we've dug into everything with this show, like, oh shit, lots happens here. Just, under kind of under the table.
Yeah,
Um, but like I
there.
just never really imagined that in my lifetime I would see this stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? See
yeah.
the like massive global changes and like how intertwined everything is. Like, yeah, actually having that thought, it's like, well, are we gonna be Canadians in a few years? Like, is that gonna be a thing? We gotta switch the flag? Like, how's this gonna work? It's
Yeah, would that'd be no more maple syrup
well,
if the if things shifted,
yeah, actually, yeah. You're
right?
right. You're 100% right because the climate, yeah, if the climate changes and we don't get that frost, then
Uh,
goodbye.
I love maple syrup, but I would be okay with the sun and warm
Oh, dude, yeah.
and just 12 hours of sun and 12 hours of dark
Yeah.
instead of the
Every time I go to Mexico, I'm 20 times happier than I've ever been at home.
yeah.
So, like
Yeah.
there's something to it. There really is something to I don't think my wife and I were talking about this yesterday and she's like, I don't think we're meant to live in really cold environments.
Like you and her or people in general
Just
or
well, like Europeans
oh, okay.
specifically.
Yeah.
I was reading about Inuit people the other day and and just people that live in these like colder climates and actually there is like an evolutionary thing where they have like a different type of belly fat than we do. It's called brown belly fat or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, so they actually like and you and I, because we're of like European descent,
Yeah.
uh could never it'll never happen for us. Like we could live in a northern climate, real northern climate for decades and we'd never develop it. And but they have this and it allows them to retain body heat at a different rate than we do. Like they don't lose it as quickly.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, you know.
Wow. So that would yeah, we're supposed to be somewhere warm.
Yeah.
Like and I think that I
So think
guess
about how hot these people are gonna be if it does switch. They're gonna be sweating their asses off, man.
right?
Yeah.
Or they'll have to go somewhere. They'll keep finding north.
Yeah. All the Inuit people just like it has like a Ozempic effect on them and they're just like slim right down.
Um, I'm about to say something that you might have to edit out.
Okay.
I'll leave that up to you. Just because
I
I
probably
don't.
won't now that you've
Okay,
given me a
so because it's something like, and I don't use the term Indians to describe First Nations people. I never have, and that's not a political. I just it. You know what I mean? But they were
it's
called
historically inaccurate, so it's
right.
yeah.
So they were called Indians. And if the pole shifts, the North Pole would be in India.
Huh.
So if the Inuit then went and found the North Pole, would they be Indians?
Yeah.
I,
And had it if huh.
I also think that was done on purpose too. I think every time things have been misnamed or whatever, it's always been on purpose. They
Just to
were
throw you
purposely
off the
called
scent.
Indians, yeah, to screw with everything.
Yeah. Huh. That's really interesting. I'm definitely not editing that out. That's I don't know. I think it's an interesting take.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
I also that yeah, furthering that, like using that word that I use, right? So Indians, not the word I would use. I would use First Nations, but or Aboriginals or anyway, we're here first. The white people came and took over. Canada became essentially a pretty white country,
Yeah.
right? And now who's taking
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Cycle of life, buddy.
Yeah, man. Damn.
I'm gonna get in
Damn.
trouble for that, but
Well, hey,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. If the shoe fits,
Yeah.
you know. I don't know. So,
Judge me by the context and by my actions, not necessarily by my words.
yeah.
Words cannot hurt you. They legitimately cannot.
No. No.
Only you can allow words to hurt you.
It's all about intent too.
100%.
Right? Like, yeah, I think we're moving past that. That most people are fairly reasoned, at least in that sense, where
Mhm.
we're moving past this like cancel culture stuff, I think.
It does feel like that
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just have to at a certain point. Like, discourse can't happen if that's in the way, and
Mhm.
there's a lot to talk about. So we need that out of the way so that we can have reasonable conversations. I think where it comes down, and it's that you have to keep an open mind with it. Is we can't do this conservative versus liberal thing. That's not helping the conversation. The conversation is far more complex and bigger than that.
Yeah.
And like as we discussed, like there's things on a global scale happening that like don't lend itself to a good versus bad thing. It's literally like a gray area, right?
Mhm.
You look at all I mean, Iran right now and stuff. It's like there's people not getting involved in that conversation because they don't know which side to take, and it's like, well, there really isn't a side to take. People should have their freedom, but then the U.S. coming in and we're gonna prop up your revolution. It's like, well, how many times has that worked out well?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and keep that in mind, Canada. That's
Yeah.
because that's going to happen here, right? If we get to a point of like a revolution sort of thing, and there's a big financer like the U.S., our neighbors to the south, coming in and hey, we'll prop you up, Alberta. Don't worry about it. Like,
Mhm.
proceed with caution, man. Like,
100 I agree. Yeah, yeah.
you know,
That the two sides things has to end as that's the only way this does end is but
yeah,
no more two sides, right? No more Hegelian dialectic. No, none of that.
yeah,
There's a fella I work with, and I know it, not that he will be watching this, but if he does, I'm sure he'll be okay with me sharing this story. But he's a big Trump supporter,
mm,
and a born again Christian, and I get along very well with him. Super nice guy. He knows that I'm not a Trump supporter. He also knows now that I'm not a supporter of anyone.
yeah.
Like I'm not a Trump guy. I'm also not a conservative guy. I'm not I,
Club
no political affiliation, right?
clubs are for dorks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So, and we were having this talk, and I was trying to explain to him. I was like, I almost said his name. Um, that the because he was going on and on about trans this
right.
and I was like, if you think for 1 second that what did he say? Like a purple-haired trans lesbian or something is what he said, not me.
Yeah.
And he was going on, and I was like, if you don't think that person has more in common with you than you do with Donald Trump, like that's the problem.
Mhm.
They do like that.
Yeah,
That person that you hate that you think looks different or in both sides, right? The way they look at MAGA people and the way that MAGA people look at the
yeah.
other side, they all have more in common with each other than either of them do with Trump or Biden or whatever jackass they have on the other side. Trump doesn't care about you.
No.
He doesn't, yeah. And People need to understand that.
Yeah.
Stop being political fanboys and hold people to account too.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that's what I wish.
Me too.
And that'll end it.
Yep.
But it'll probably never happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say, right? There was an element of that in like sort of the early 90s, like the early, that the early 90s liberal was a different animal.
Mhm.
They were against vaccines. They were against,
Yeah.
all the stuff that gets sort of like put into this alt-right sort of umbrella all used to be liberal talking points.
Mhm.
It's insane to me, right? It's like I know I've said it before, but it's like, when did the left become the bootlickers? Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
And it's simply, and it really just was. It's because this political dialogue became so commonplace, and it became so one side versus the other. The death of the Occupy movement really, I think, put a nail in the coffin of where all that was heading. And then if you kind of like look it up, that's sort of when this like the shift to the right
just after that.
kind of happened.
Yeah, that fits. That
Yeah.
tracks.
Yeah. Because I actually do think that movement, I know that there's been a lot of people that have kind of disseminated that and determined that it was in fact funded by, just like the No Kings protest, just like
Funded by
BLM.
someone.
Funded by someone, but I think the actual sentiment of that movement was probably more on point than any of these other movements have been.
Mhm.
I
think they've always it's all, in my opinion, if you look through time, it is, at least in North America, it has always been the cause solution thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's always been the back and forth between the two parties here or in the States. One party causes the problem, the next party comes in with a probable solution, and they work that
And
way. And
switch it.
sometimes they morph what they stand for, right? Like the left in the States is also who was the pro-slavery party.
Yeah.
Right? Like they may not want to admit it, but they were.
They were. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
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 It's also the side that most aligns with communism, right?
sure.
Like there's anyway.
Yeah. No, there's it's always been a class war. It's and that's, at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's a class war.
And nuance is dead.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. But again, like, I think with sort of cancel culture going, I think nuance is coming back,
Yes, I agree too.
because the blanket statements don't work anymore. You can't just call someone a racist anymore. You can't just call someone a Nazi anymore. It holds no weight. Like, you've overused all of those words and made them devoid of all meaning.
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, they just, it's not working anymore. At some point, you have to explain yourself. What do you mean?
Yeah.
If you explain it and you have a good point, I'll acknowledge it.
And proof of what you just said, because this is a current events show today.
Yeah.
Big thing on Twitter today was Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes. What's that guy who did gay porn and now he's Sneeko, and one other jackass.
Yeah.
All dancing at a club in Miami to Kanye West Hail Hitler.
Jesus.
And like pouring champagne and toasting and smoking doobies. And
Yeah. It's a big
do you know what I
joke to
mean?
them.
Like, but that's
Yeah.
so that's fine. But it just
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, no, it's just
over.
It's over. It's
Yeah.
just a big joke.
Can't do it no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they all work for the same, Tucker was at the White House again the other day. It's like, it's all the same. Elon's back in the White House.
Yeah.
They hate each other. They love each other. They hate each other. They're all actors. It's all theater. And
that was weird, that time when Elon and Trump were beefing for like 2 weeks. And remember, Elon had a black eye.
Well, yeah.
That same week.
The same week that he posted that Trump is on the Epstein list.
Yeah.
And it was like,
yeah, it was a really weird tweet out of nowhere.
Yeah. But again, like, they're just driving the narrative.
Yeah.
He wakes up, he gets a text in the morning. And it's like, hey, you're up.
Yeah. He does whatever the ketamine tells him to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Hey, man, ketamine's a horse tranquilizer, and we are entering the year of the horse here. So
yeah,
it's going to be a ketamine kind of year for everybody.
The year of the blue horse.
Yeah. Which we're not officially in yet. I've seen all this astrological stuff where people are talking about, like, oh, new year, we're in the year of the horse, but it's like the lunar new year hasn't happened yet. We're at the very end of the year of the snake.
And that, yeah, so that it's the moon that decides the lunar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
So
the Chinese follow the Lunar New Year.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're in that last little cusp of shedding old ways by their, based on what they believe.
Mhm. Dates aren't real, man. Anyway,
Nah, they're just,
it's all arbitrary things decided.
yeah.
It like I think New Year should be in my opinion, at least living in Canada, the New Year should be the equate with the solstice,
Yeah.
like the winter solstice. You know what I mean? Like that's when. But then in the southern hemisphere, I guess it would be the
The
opposite.
opposite, yeah.
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 I saw that Dawson's Creek guy freaking out about New Year, saying it should be at the spring equinox
Oh, really?
is when he thinks it should be because that's when life.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. In like paganism and stuff, like midsummer is like, I think that's like June that they do that,
Mhm.
June or July. So a little later, but it's
Yeah.
the whole thing is it's a fertility ceremony, right? It's about
At that time.
birth, rebirth,
Yeah. And they have a similar New Year thing, right? From the 21st to
Yep.
the 1st is there also a pagan ceremony honoring
Yeah.
Yule. And anyway, we'll save all that for another
That's
time.
where Krampus shows up and gives everyone lap dances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an underrated Christmas movie.
I didn't watch it.
Really?
The one with like Adam Scott or whatever, like the
Yeah.
live action one. I never watched it.
Oh, yeah. It's Krampus, the movie?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
No. I just
It's okay.
didn't
Yeah.
didn't tickle my fancy, but I should check it out. Yeah. Anything else you want to cover?
Not really.
All right, cool. This was a solid winging it episode.
Yeah, we didn't do too bad.
We got through it.
Yeah.
There was a lot there. I mean, yeah, it's been such a heavy start to January. I think everyone's feeling it, and the psyops are in full force, and you kind of have to be living under a rock to not feel like something weird is going on. So
Yeah.
I'm happy we got to do one of these, and
Yeah, I am too,
Yeah.
because I had a lot of people stop talking about Trump there for a bit in this country, and those same people have started talking about Trump again. So
yeah,
it's good that we had a little discussion about why,
yeah,
or the possibility of why.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, I'm happy we did this. If you tuned into this one, let us know what you thought. Because if we can do more of this, we can do more current events stuff. If that's if people are feeling it.
We were discussing, right, doing that one show a week, maybe from like I can do it from my place, you can do it from here. Maybe we'll save that for a current events thing if people like it or if we like it.
Yeah,
or just even an event.
We've been playing around with the idea of like the second tier to our show, Patreon kind of thing. I don't think we're quite there yet, but I'm just happy we're getting these out there and people are engaging with us. So let's keep that up. But if you people want more, ask us and we will deliver.
Yeah, for sure. Any show ideas, guest ideas, want to be a guest on the show, let us know. Contact us and we'll try to fit you in.
Yeah.
Because we're quite busy over the next little while, as long as people don't cancel on us anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a handful of bookings for the next little bit. We've got some really cool topics coming up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spill what any of them are, but
we will bring them up when the time is right. We'll be on a few other shows. Some are fairly well known too, which is nice.
Yeah. We've got lots of fun stuff coming up. So we'll keep at her for all you out there. And thanks again for listening.
And from the land of the high seas and the tall trees,
I'm Andrew.
I'm Mike. Have a great night.
Take her easy.